The gas station had been the last sign of civilization before the town. Mark, Jessica, Leo, and Rachel had been on the road for hours, winding through backwoods highways with no clear end in sight. The GPS had lost signal, and the only signs of life came in the form of a wooden post by the roadside. "Welcome to Ashbrook, a home for all." The town was picturesque, almost too perfect. Neatly trimmed hedges, warm yellow lights glowing from windows, and streets so clean they looked untouched by time. A diner sat at the corner of the main street, its neon sign buzzing in the quiet dusk. A soft breeze carried the scent of baking bread and something earthy. As they stepped out of the car, a man in a pressed vest and hat greeted them with a smile too wide. "New visitors? Welcome, welcome. We don't see many travelers." Rachel frowned. "We didn't even see this place on the map." The man chuckled. "Ashbrook isn't on many maps, but no worries. You'll love it here." After a meal at the diner, the group decided to move on, but every road out of Ashbrook led them right back to the main street. Jessica checked the GPS. Still no signal. "Okay, this is weird," Leo muttered, gripping the wheel as they circled the town for the 5th time. They stopped at the town's entrance. Behind them, the streetlights flickered, casting long shadows. The sign still read, "Welcome to Ashbrook. A home for all." Rachel's voice wavered. "It's like we never left." The townsfolk stood outside their homes watching, smiling. "We should stay the night," Mark suggested, forcing a laugh. "Figure this out in the morning." The others hesitated, but with no other option, they checked into the only motel. The moment the sun dipped below the horizon, the town changed. Rachel was the first to notice. The soft glow of the streetlights had shifted to a dull, sickly hue. The air grew thick, carrying a stench of rot. The buildings, pristine in the daylight, now looked wrong, as if the wood and brick had aged 100 years in minutes. Something moved outside. Mark peeked through the blinds. The streets were empty. The people were gone. Then a sound, a whisper, a dry, rasping breath from the hall. Jessica grabbed Leo's arm. "Did you hear that?" A shadow loomed outside their door, stretching unnaturally under the flickering light. A soft knock echoed. "Guests," a voice murmured. "You belong here now." The handle twisted. Leo shoved a dresser against the door, heart pounding. The whispers grew louder. From the vents, the ceiling, the walls. The wallpaper peeled, revealing something underneath. Faces. Dozens of them, screaming in silence, their eyes hollow and sunken. Rachel gasped. "We have to get out of here." They ran. Down the decayed hall, through a door that no longer led to a lobby, but to an alleyway of rotting wood and weeping stone. Ashbrook was not a town. It was a thing. A hungry thing. The roads didn't lead back by accident. The town was folding in on itself, trapping them. The church bell rang, a low, bone-deep chime. The people of Ashbrook were emerging from the darkness, but they were not people anymore. Their limbs jerked unnaturally, mouths open far too wide, revealing rows of blackened teeth. Jessica screamed as one reached for her, its fingers stretching like roots. Mark grabbed her wrist and yanked her back just in time. Leo pointed ahead. "The sign! Go!" They ran, past the dissolving houses, past the grinning, shambling figures, until they reached the town entrance. The sign stood before them. "Welcome to Ashbrook, a home for all." Rachel reached out, and with all her strength, knocked it over. The sign hit the ground with a deep, reverberating crack. The world lurched. And suddenly, it was morning. They stood by their car, the town behind them. Pristine, normal. No sign of rot, decay, or the horrors of the night. Breathless, they piled into the vehicle, the engine roaring to life. This time, the road stretched ahead, clear. As they sped away, Leo glanced in the rearview mirror. The town was gone. Nothing but an empty stretch of road and a dense, whispering forest. Rachel let out a shaky breath. Was it real? Jessica looked down at her arm, where something had grabbed her. A bruise, shaped like long, thin fingers, was already forming. Nobody spoke. As they drove, a new sign appeared ahead, half hidden by the trees. "Welcome to Ashbrook, a home for all." The road stretched on, endless and unchanging. Rachel checked the GPS. Still no signal. "Where the hell are we?" Leo muttered, gripping the wheel. Jessica stared out the window. The trees were wrong. They weren't trees at all, just shapes, black and shifting, as if the forest itself was watching them. Then Rachel gasped. "Wait! Stop the car!" Leo hesitated but slowed. A figure stood at the edge of the road. Not a person. It was tall, wrapped in something tattered that billowed despite the still air. Its arms were too long, hands curled like broken claws, but its face was blank. No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth stretch of skin. It tilted its head as if listening. Then it raised one hand and pointed. Behind them. Leo's breath caught. He looked in the rearview mirror. The sign was back. Number, no. Leo slammed the gas, tires screeching. But the moment they moved, the sky shifted. The sun, which had just begun to rise, froze. Then it reversed, sinking back below the horizon in seconds, throwing the world into twilight. The trees shrank back. The road vanished. And suddenly they were back in town. The neon diner sign buzzed. The air smelled of baking bread. People walked along the sidewalks, smiling, like nothing had ever happened. Rachel clutched her head. Number, no, we left. We were gone. Mark whispered. We never left. A man in a pressed vest and hat approached their car, smiling warmly. New visitors? Rachel let out a shuddering sob. We were just here. The man's smile never wavered. Ashbrook is always here. That night, they tried to run, but the town's streets didn't obey normal rules anymore. A left turn brought them back to the same corner store. A right turn led them in a circle. Every street folded into itself, trapping them like rats in a maze with no exit. At midnight, the bells rang again. This time, the town woke up completely. The streetlights flickered, revealing what the people of Ashbrook truly were. Their skin cracked, peeling away like dry bark to reveal something slick and black underneath. Their mouths widened to their ears, filled with needle-like teeth. Jessica whimpered as one turned its head toward her, its eyes gone, replaced by empty holes that wept black ichor. Rachel screamed as something moved under the pavement, pulsing like a heartbeat. The town itself was alive. Leo grabbed her hand. Run! But the roads weren't roads anymore. They were veins, and they were closing in. Mark stumbled as the asphalt split open, revealing a yawning black abyss underneath. Something reached up, a tangle of grasping, clawed hands. They didn't belong to the townsfolk. They belonged to the ones who had come before, the ones who never escaped. Desperation set in. Rachel grabbed a rusted street sign and ripped it out of the ground. The moment it tore free, the town screamed. Every window shattered. The ground convulsed. The people collapsed, their bodies melting into thick, oily shadows that slithered toward the cracks in the pavement. The world tilted. And suddenly, they were back on the highway. The car was still running, the road stretching ahead, normal again. Ashbrook was gone. Rachel let out a shaky laugh. We did it. We made it. Jessica clutched her arm, staring out the window. Leo. Leo swallowed hard. What? Jessica pointed. Ahead, in the distance, barely visible in the morning fog. A wooden sign. Welcome to Ashbrook, a home for all. And beneath it, something new had been carved into the wood. You can never leave.